Muscoy, California is a small semi-rural community just north of San Bernardino. Home to around 10,000 people, the area has deep agricultural roots and is known for its large lots, ranch-style homes, and space for keeping horses or livestock. While mostly residential, it also has pockets of light industry and sits close to major freeways. In the summer of 1992, 8-year-old Scott Christian Echols lived with his parents and 3 of his 5 siblings on the 3500 block of Nolan Street. The neighborhood was considered run down, and the Echols family had been struggling financially. Their living conditions weren't the best, but despite their hardships, the family was close and looked out for one another. Scott himself was well known around the neighborhood. He was described as outgoing, approachable, and a friendly child, who got along with just about everyone. In the early morning hours of July 26, 1992, the Echols family's lives were changed forever. That night, Scott had fallen asleep on the couch in the living room while the rest of his family slept in the bedroom. At around 2:30 a.m., someone knocked on the front door. Authorities believe Scott got up to answer it, then left the house, riding his bicycle. He never came back. Scott's bicycle was never recovered, and from that night on, he hasn't been seen or heard from again. There were no signs of forced entry or a struggle inside the home, leading investigators to believe he left willingly, most likely with someone he knew. According to the Unsolved with Steve Gregory podcast, there had actually been another knock on the door earlier that evening, around 10 p.m. Scott's father, who was still awake at the time, chose not to answer it and didn't think much more about it. San Bernardino County Deputy District Attorney Denise Yoakum later explained, his family woke up the next morning and he was missing. Scott's father reported him missing 2 days later. At first, the family believed he may have run away, since he had reportedly been experiencing some problems at school. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department wasted no time in launching a search. Deputies went door to door and blanketed the neighborhood with flyers, hoping someone might know where Scott had gone. His classmates were questioned, but no one had any idea of his whereabouts. In the following days and weeks, tips trickled in, yet none of them led anywhere. As investigators dug deeper, concerns from neighbors began to surface about the Echols family's situation. Some claimed that Scott smoked cigarettes, drank alcohol, and even stole bikes around the area. His family strongly denied these allegations. What police could confirm, however, was that Scott had been placed on probation the year before for setting fire to an abandoned building and for repeated truancy. He was also often seen begging for change or collecting cans alongside homeless people to earn money, a stark reminder of the tough financial struggles his family faced on a daily basis. It's important to recognize that children growing up in difficult circumstances are often among the most vulnerable in society. They can be more easily influenced, targeted, or taken advantage of, and Scott's situation seemed to reflect that risk. Some believed he may have fallen in with the wrong crowd or been lured away by someone he trusted. But the truth is, no evidence has ever revealed what actually happened to him that night. One detail that stood out to investigators was that Scott was reportedly afraid of the dark. Because of this, leaving the house in the middle of the night seemed completely out of character for him. Whenever he stayed out late, he would often rely on rides from strangers just to avoid walking home alone after sunset. That fear made it seem even more unlikely that he left willingly in the early morning hours. Despite the family's hardships, authorities quickly ruled out Scott's relatives as suspects. They all took and passed polygraph tests, and they fully cooperated with investigators. Officials also stressed that the family's financial struggles had no bearing on the seriousness of the search. As Deputy District Attorney Denise Yoakum explained, "We just want justice for Scott and his family. The law must protect everyone equally. It doesn't matter if they are rich or poor or where they came from." Unfortunately, as the years went by, Scott's case went cold. "There are no suspects, no clues. He just disappeared," Yoakum said. Even decades later, though, retired detectives still check back on the case from time to time. As she noted, they have not forgotten Scott. Scott's brother, Don Echols, spoke to the San Bernardino Sun about the pain his family has carried for decades. He described Scott as a typical boy, deeply loved by everyone around him, and admitted that the lack of closure has left a permanent hole in their lives. There's a void in our hearts, and we as a family need to know what happened. We've never been able to actually grieve or get any kind of closure. It's been over 20 years, and we still don't know what happened. If there's even a glimmer of hope, we'll take it. This shattered all our lives. If anyone knows anything, please contact detectives. Please help us get closure. Authorities share that same hope. As Deputy District Attorney Denise Yoakum has stated, children don't disappear into thin air. Someone out there knows what happened to Scott, and they need to come forward with that information. In an effort to keep his memory alive, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children created a digital age progression image of what Scott might have looked like at 26 years old. The hope was that if he was still alive, someone might recognize him and provide answers. But as of 2025, Scott Christian Echols remains missing, and his case sadly remains unsolved. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children continue to urge the public to come forward with any information. At the time of his disappearance in 1992, Scott was just 8 years old. He is described as a Caucasian male with brown hair and brown eyes, standing 4 feet 3 inches tall and weighing approximately 78 pounds. One of his most identifiable features is a scar on the left side of his lower lip. When last seen, he was wearing a Los Angeles Dodgers t-shirt and a pair of acid-washed jeans. Scott's DNA is available for comparison in modern databases, but unfortunately, dental records were never created, as he had never been to a dentist. Fingerprints are also unavailable. His case remains officially classified as endangered missing. If alive today, Scott would be 42 years old. Anyone with information is urged to contact the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office at 714-387-3573.